Welcome to 30 Question Natural Wonders Quiz. Which massive canyon in Arizona was carved by the Colorado River? Grand Canyon, over 277 miles long. Which reef system off Australia is the largest on Earth? Great Barrier Reef, visible from space in some conditions. Which waterfall sits on the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe? Victoria Falls, locals call it Mosi Oatunya. Which mountain is the tallest above sea level? Mount Everest, 8,849 meters high. Which desert is the largest hot desert in the world? Sahara Desert, larger than the continental United States. Which polar region surrounds the South Pole? Antarctica, the coldest continent on Earth. Which river carries the most water of any river? Amazon River, it has the largest discharge on Earth. Which cave system in Kentucky is the world's longest known cave? Mammoth Cave, over 400 miles mapped. Which African mountain has a snow-capped summit near the equator? Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's tallest mountain. Which island group is famous for blue-footed boobies and giant tortoises? Galapagos Islands, key to Darwin's ideas on evolution. Which geyser in Yellowstone erupts on a famous schedule? Old Faithful, one of the world's best-known geysers. Which salt flat in Bolivia becomes a giant mirror after rain? Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt flat. Which Norwegian cliffs rise dramatically above Lysefjord? Preikestolen, also called Pulpit Rock. Which bay in Vietnam is famous for limestone karsts? Ha Long Bay, its name means descending dragon. Which Turkish terraces are made of white mineral deposits? Pamukkale, the name means cotton castle. Which Chinese forest has tall sandstone pillars that inspired fantasy landscapes? Zhangjiajie, famous for towering quartzite pillars. Which Venezuelan waterfall is the world's highest uninterrupted waterfall? Angel Falls drops 979. Which lake between Tanzania and Kenya hosts huge flamingo flocks? Lake Natron, its alkaline waters are extreme. Which desert in Chile is one of the driest places on Earth? Atacama Desert, some areas receive almost no rain. Which glacier lagoon in Iceland is filled with blue icebergs? Jokul connected to the Vatnajökull Glacier. Which pink lake in Australia is famous for its unusual color? Lake Hillier, its color comes from microorganisms. Which volcanic caldera in Indonesia contains a bright blue crater lake? Kelimutu, its crater lakes can change color. Which Tanzanian crater is packed with wildlife inside an ancient volcano? Ngorongoro Crater, one of Africa's wildlife hotspots. Which cliff-lined coast in Ireland is famous for Atlantic views? Cliffs of Moher, they rise over 700 feet. Which U.S. park is known for giant granite walls like El Capitan? Yosemite, a landmark of the Sierra Nevada. Which African delta spreads through Botswana instead of flowing to the sea? Okavango Delta, a huge inland wetland. Which cave in Vietnam is among the largest caves in the world? Sun Dune Cave, large enough for its own clouds. Which turquoise lakes in Croatia cascade through forested waterfalls? Plitvice Lake's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Which Argentine glacier is famous for dramatic ice collapses? Perito Moreno Glacier, one of Patagonia's icons. Which U.S. volcanic crater lake is famous for deep blue water? Crater Lake, the deepest lake in the United States. Quiz complete. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more MegaTrivia.